What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Basement Radio Arcade Podcast. Slobo, what is going on, dude?
What is up? What is up?
Yeah, I just decided to go live, man. It's 9 o'clock. Didn't want to keep the fans waiting, man.
I feel you. I feel you.
You know?
Um, man, what an eventful day, huh?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of gaming announcement. Well, I think the big one was Death Stranding, obviously.
Of course.
But now we have word that Activision is going to reveal their new Call of Duty on May 30th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, man.
Oh well. I mean, look, I guess that's okay for big Call of Duty fans. I really don't care. But yeah, this looks like a lot of people are. I mean, Activision doesn't do anything during, like, they don't have their own show during E3. They let the platform holders do everything for them, which is fine. Although they're big enough that they could do their own thing if they wanted to. But I guess a lot of people are following the Sony example of just, hey, you don't have to release everything at E3. And like I've been saying for over a year, you get more attention if you release information away from E3 or these other conferences, because you're, instead of competing with all these other games, everyone's just talking about your game. Like, everyone all day has been talking about Death Stranding.
Yeah, that's a good point, man.
Now, if Sony was at E3 and they showed all this for Death Stranding, yeah, people will be talking about it, but people will also be sharing that time talking about Halo Infinite, Gears 5, the next Ubisoft game, the next Capcom games coming out. Some of the other Sony first party games. It's going to share those moments, share that airtime. And now it's not sharing any airtime because it's all by itself, and it showed well. So, this is it's the internet age, man. It's 2019. Got to get out of that. Hey, it can only be done at E3 nonsense. I hope Xbox Division is taking notes, because they have a platform to be able to do this on a monthly basis.
So. Yeah, they do. I mean, they certainly do, and I think it's interesting. I think I know the ESA has internally had conversations about the relevance of E3 too, and maybe how they need to tweak it. Because look, I mean, you're right. What's up, B Money?
B Money.
You're right. I mean, people, you can control your own messaging, and you're not crowded by other announcements. And you're right. The focal point is on you and only you. And Death Stranding's, an example of that today. So, and then you say they were Call of Duty. Although I don't like that there's to be called Modern Warfare.
That's really dumb. You already have a game called Modern Warfare. Like, can you really be that lazy that you just can't come up with a new, unique name? Put another number at the end of it? Like, come on. Like, if it's not a complete departure from what the first Call of Duty was, don't give it the same name. It's your usual Call of Duty stuff. So just, give it a new name and keep it moving. Like, it's unnecessary.
Yeah, and I hear you, man. B, are you
By
there,
the
man?
way, let me.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up,
we can hear you, bro. I want to commend B Money for being right about Death Stranding. There was more to see, and I am. It has elevated to me from a hell no to I'm gonna give this one a shot. It still has that Kojima look to me of, I'm gonna be looking at this game confused for majority of the time. That's why I still get that feel about it. But when I actually saw actual gameplay and actual combat, I'm like, okay, I can get with this. I can play this. It's different, and right now I think I really need some different, because everything's too samey right now.
Yeah, that's I mean, it's a good point, man. I mean, I think we'll get into that with their
OBJ in the chat said, here to support my fellow Death Stranding bandwagoner Slow-Mo. I'm on the bandwagon now. All right, look, I'm half on. I'm one butt cheek on. Okay, only one butt cheek. I'm like half on. I will jump off this bandwagon in a moment's heartbeat. But I'm here. I'm here for the ride so far.
Yeah, OBJ the same way, man. He was out there trash talking. You know what I mean? He wasn't on the bandwagon until he saw that footage today. So, you know what I mean? Welcome to the bandwagon, OBJ. Appreciate you jumping on, man.
I just want to say best tweet today by our good friend Kratos, J-Dub. He said, bots are out here laughing at babies in Death Stranding, but forgot to have an Xbox doll.
Yo, Jay's on the playground today, man.
Yeah, that was
he's in his bag. He's in his bag.
Yeah. That was the best tweet today. I was dying. I was literally in tears.
What's up, Eric?
Jackson? What's going on, fam? How y'all doing?
Man,
what's going on, man?
Can't complain.
Man, I'm chilling. We here for the Kojima foolishness.
Oh yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, Kojima foolishness. Oh my goodness, that's too funny, man.
I just find it funny on timelines, how you see people beating that drum like Kojima's overrated and the whole nine, right? I kind of chalk that up to when I see people saying that, I say, yo, this cat must have been born in 1996. So he has like no point of reference or whatever. Because it's like, you could say like, you may not like the dude's games or whatever the case may be. You may think he's like way out there. But if you're going to say that the man's like overrated, you're not really recognizing like the contributions that he's brought to the industry.
Okay, wait. Now, I am born well past the 90s. I do feel Kojima is somewhat overrated. And now overrated isn't, and people misconstrue overrated. Like, you can be overrated but still be a great game designer. You can be overrated and still be amazing at your job. It doesn't mean that you're bad at your job or anything. The issue is that people kind of put you like, and it's really nothing Kojima has done. It's how people perceive him and his work, and they put him on a pedestal and they act like he can do no wrong. And it's just like when people point out flaws in his games or things they don't quite like about his games, people are like, oh, you know what you're talking about. You weren't paying attention. Watch this 45-minute video that explains the story. You don't know. It's just like, if I could understand the story, I wouldn't need, the story was coherent, I wouldn't need to watch a 48-minute video about it. It's just like, I recognize he's been a pioneer in many ways in the gaming industry.
That's what I'm getting at, Slomo. It's not about, I know dude is in his bag. Like, he's way out there with the way he thinks. And I couldn't sit here and tell you cohesively what all the Metal Gear story is about. I couldn't. I'm not going to even sit in front and do that. I enjoy the game, but I'm saying,
I know the one consistent in the Metal Gear is the Metal Gears and Solid Snake.
the lolly and all that. Yeah, so you know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm getting at, Slomo. It's like I watch the timelines and I see, how people kind of go about it. And yeah, I'm not saying you got to be on the Jeff Keighley level. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Jeff
on a whole different level. There. But I'm saying, I see people quick to dismiss. So I mean, I made a joke that, you were born in 1996 because you just, some people don't realize, what Metal Gear Solid, because Metal Gear was around, but what Metal Gear Solid did in gaming, like you had to experience that. It's just, take a point of reference of what somebody plays now, who came up a few years ago in gaming, whatever, you know what I'm saying? So it's somewhere in between. Like you said, it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
Yeah. I remember Kojima being the first making the first game where it really broke the fourth wall. You remember the boss fight where you had to, it was like, put your controller down.
Yeah.
Watch this.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's like reading your memory card. It's like, you like to play X, Y. You know what I'm saying? It's like, wow.
Man, I was like, what? Man, that was like, I was in college. Like, I understood how they did it. It was just like, I'm really seen a game go that far, and that's why, like, I appreciate a Kojima, because we need something that's different. He's necessary in the gaming industry. We can't have people who don't want. We have too many publishers right now who won't take chances,
Right.
You want EA, Activision, like those big publishers that have all the money and don't want to approve anything that might have a slight chance of not being a slam dunk home run.
Mm-hmm.
We need these kind of guys that just come out of left field with some crazy stuff. Don't always like it, but you appreciate the effort and the attempt.
Right, because I think when I came in, you were like kind of hitting the nail on the head. You're saying like everything is kind of samey, so it's so not do we need to do cartwheels over what we saw? No, but your intrigue could be there.
Yeah,
because how many times do we get something that you go, we get lots of games where we're like, yo, that looks fire, I'm gonna play that. That looks dope. But does it spark your imagination? You're like, what in the hell was that? What did I just see?
Yeah, real quick, guys, before we get to Kojima, I do want to bring something up real quickly. Jason Schreier is again breaking another story. This came out yesterday. I don't know if you guys caught this. Former Rockstar designer says former top executive groped him. Did you guys hear about this?
Yeah, I read the tweet earlier.
I mean, I read the article and holy shit. I mean,
oh, man.
Jason talked about the Rockstar crunch or the dysfunction internally. I mean, this guy is he's no longer with Rockstar. But this guy is basically he was the VP of product development at Rockstar. His name was Geronimo Barrera. Yeah, VP of product development, and he worked out of Rockstar's office in New York. And long story short, I mean, the guy who is making the accusation said that he had just started at Rockstar, was asked to go out with some colleagues, and the guy came over and I was buying everyone drinks. They had table service, and
the good old drinks.
Sat on his lap.
What?
But he told the guy.
Wild.
Yeah, well, he told the guy. The guy made the accusation to come over. I'm sorry, to come over and sit on his lap, and the guy felt like really awkward. And people had warned him that this guy was very brash and to be careful what you say around him because I'll fire you on the spot. So coming into the meeting, the guy was really nervous, and it's a mess, man. If you guys haven't read this article, definitely read it. It's like Rockstar sounds like a mess. It doesn't sound like a place I'd want to work at.
Yeah, and all the people that were out there capping for crunch, all the people defending Rockstar and well, this is no big deal. Stop whining, all that kind of stuff. Look at this foolishness, yo. This should not ever happen in any professional forget professional. Shouldn't happen, period. True. Professional environment or not. And it always seems to be that line gets real blurry when alcohol is introduced. And this is why now just functions for the company, you just got to be careful. Sometimes it's okay to say, you know what, I can't make it.
Yeah.
And not saying that I'm not victim blaming this dude or anything. I'm saying, well, you shouldn't have went, but just it's a difficult situation because I almost guarantee whoever that guy is that did that sexual harassment, he's still working there.
No, he's not there anymore.
He's not. Oh, good.
No, he's no longer there.
I'm wrong for once.
They don't
the guy's still there.
No, he's not there. He left last year. Jason in the article didn't say why he left. But this whole thing, the guy brought up to HR investigated, and people there people said, oh, well, we didn't see that happen, so no one really backed his story. So it was kind of like, hey, you know what? He's denying it, and we don't have any witnesses that collaborate what you're saying is true, and basically, it's a wash. We're gonna be implementing some mandatory anti-harassment training or something, and that was kind of the end result of this. And the guy eventually left. The guy went to go work for Oculus and then got out of the gaming industry because of his experience at Rockstar. And this is again, we talk about Jason Schreier and his investigative journalism. This is the result of some of the work and digging that he did. And yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy to hear this stuff. at game studios. Like it's like what's happening? You know, like you said, Slim. We heard about the Rockstar crunch. We heard about now we're hearing about these allegations of sexual harassment. Apparently, it's practice in the industry. If you're a female, you turn your 2 weeks, you're immediately terminated. Because he said that when he put in his 2 weeks notice, he was immediately terminated. He wasn't expecting that because that typically doesn't happen to males in the gaming industry. It's more prevalent with female employees in the gaming industry. So you have that there in the gaming industry. And I think Jason may have even said, this is why, or maybe I think there was someone else that he interviewed that's in the gaming industry saying this is why the gaming industry needs unions because, some of these folks are underpaid. We talked about Randy Pitchford stealing money from employees. We just heard about this Rockstar controversy with sexual harassment.
Yeah, more than stealing money, Randy Pitchford stealing money, shoving guys,
Yeah,
demanding they tell them information that they heard from other people, and then firing them when they don't do what they're being told.
Yo, those officers are crazy over there, man. Yo,
I'm telling you, the gaming industry does not sound sexy anymore.
Yo, this is why. Look, and what I do working in tech and IT, like there's a lot of crossover there, and it's just like I've thought about it. I even thrown applications out to certain companies for things that I know I can do. As far as in the game development process, but it's just like I've never really taken it serious because you hear the stories, and there's no way I'm gonna be having a cot at work to finish a game. I'm going home to my family. As soon as my 8 hours is up, peace, deuces. Like, and you can say what I'm not. As committed as everyone else, all you want, but family's important, and that's why things like depression is high in game development, and in a game. And as for these devs, depression's high, divorce is high, like because people just these companies act like you're just a number, and your personal life isn't important, your actual health isn't important. Only thing that's important is making that game, getting out on time, and being successful.
Yeah.
If you ain't about that, there's the door.
Yeah, peace. Exactly. What's interesting is like it's almost like Rockstar's taking on the persona of its own games.
Yeah.
Like Grand Theft Auto touches on these like touchy, societal issues, and it's like they're taking on the persona of their own games. Like it's crazy. It's crazy.
But the fact that you brought up Gearbox, I don't know if you guys heard this rumor or not. I think I may have mentioned it in the DM, but apparently they might drop a DLC that's supposed to kind of bridge the storyline between like Borderlands 2. Although I feel like Tales of the Borderlands does that pretty well. Although if there's if the time gap between Tales of the Borderlands 3 is even wider, it's the whole rumor seems kind of weird to me, just because with Tales of the Borderlands, you still would have this DLC that's trying to bridge the gap to the third game, but without Tales of the Borderlands, if people haven't played that, then they're still missing out on the story, because people there are multiple characters in Borderlands 3 that are from Tales. So people aren't going to get that from this DLC unless they're prominent in the DLC.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. Yeah. Tales was actually a really good game. I very much enjoyed.
Yep, one of the Telltale games I really enjoyed.
Yeah, that was a good game. Like even if you're not a fan of Borderlands, you can get into that game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was really good. It was well done. One of my favorite Telltale games. So interesting. I mean, if you guys haven't checked out the story, if you go to Kotaku, you'll see it. Jason Schreier again released this article yesterday. Really interesting. Some interesting insight into the ongoings of Rockstar and this alleged groping incident by their former vice president of product development. So, But on that note, I do want to get to Death Stranding because that's kind of the big news of today. We finally saw some in-game play footage. We got probably, I guess, a better sense of what the game is. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
we got a release date, November the 8th, I believe. Is that that date correct?
Yeah, it's November 8th.
November 8th.
I
Now I
thought,
think
was it 8th or 8th? It is 8th. I
It's
thought
the
it
Yeah,
8th.
it's the
Yeah,
8th.
Okay,
it's
8th,
the 8th.
okay.
yeah, it's the 8th. So now I think a lot of us thought that it was going to be The Last of Us 2 releasing this fall and not Death Stranding. So it sounds like The Last of Us 2 has been pushed back to early next year. I think February of 2020, if I'm not mistaken.
Did
Which
they
I'm okay
confirm
with
that?
that. Huh?
Did they confirm that?
I don't think that's been confirmed
It's
yet.
not officially confirmed, but that's what Jason Schreier had tweeted out, that's kind of what the plan is for that game.
Yeah, it's
I would expect the
if
game later than February.
You think later in February?
Yep.
What date? What do you think it'd be?
Says it's probably it's most likely going to happen, or if things change, it's due to like things changing after Jason Schreier heard that, because he normally doesn't tweet stuff out unless it's solid,
Yeah. Pete, what do you think? You said you think it's going to be later. What do you think? Like May, or do you think for later than that?
Yeah, I think it's probably gonna be like May, like a May range. I think
Yeah.
like usually like February, like February, March is when they release like a brand new IP. You know what I mean? So like
It's kinda like
established IP
April,
like
too.
that. Yeah, like April, May is usually when they release like a big first party game that's kind of like established. You know what I mean? So
Well, that's when they
I think-
released the Uncharted games, and that's when this console gen. Well, didn't The Last of Us, the first one, release? That was September, I think, right?
No, it came out June. It came out right before
Or
E3.
June? Okay, gotcha. Okay,
Like literally like the week before E3 is when it came out.
gotcha. Okay, all right. Got such a long time ago. Crazy. Yeah. So I I got to watch it. I was watching the trailer, and I was like, just watching it like everyone else, and thinking to myself, what am I watching here? What's going on? I still don't. I know that Kojima put out a tweet talking about what Death Stranding is, but guys, I got to be honest, I still don't. I still am confused about what this game actually is. It's out there.
Yeah,
It's definitely
it's
out
still
there.
confusing. And look, and I've read all the little commentaries. I'm getting a better handle on it. I'm seeing some things starting to come together a little bit. Madsen's, all of his appearances confuse the hell out of me.
Yeah,
I don't know what he is.
it sounds like it's almost like I feel like it's a game that I feel like he's dealing with purgatory. Like that's the underlying theme of this game. Like you got to get out of purgatory somehow. Like if you keep dying, you keep getting stuck, and you got to somehow get out of there, right? That's what it feels like?
Isn't
It's
really
more
dying.
like an interdimensional like thing that's like kind of taken over. And that's like the Death Stranding type thing. It's like something that you like. It's like taken over, and he's there's like one last hope for humanity that he's basically the guy trying to protect and deliver.
That's just, and then the babies are connected to, I guess, time travel or something. Am I getting that? Did you guys see that? Like how like the babies are used to go, I guess, from these different dimensions.
I guess.
Yes,
Look.
I guess
The
so.
more we talk about this, the more I start to go.
Let's almost rethinking about that pre-order.
Well, I'm not pre-ordering, but it looks good. It's just the more we get into the weeds of what the hell is going on, is the more I'm like, what? Like I feel like I'll be playing the game, and then like every cutscene, I just like pause and just go, what? What's happening? And then unpause and just keep playing, and then like next cutscene, huh? Who's that?
I don't get it. It seems like there's some post-apocalyptic world, but then it's like he gets like sent back to World War I or something. Do you guys see that? when he's in the trenches of World War One.
Yeah, see, look. Now, I thought that was just like present day, whenever that is, but like these, like almost like wraiths were showing up, like from a different time, a different past, were like appearing in his time. That's the way it looked like to me, but I don't know. You know, who knows what that's about. And the reason why I'm trying to like reserve judgment at this point after seeing the gameplay looks fun, so that's why I'm in. But the reason why I'm trying to reserve judgment on the story somewhat is because you guys recall, like when I was trying to play The Vanishing and beat the Ethan Carter. And like initially, I was like, "Yo, this game is trash, man. This game is terrible. This don't make any sense. Stupid game. Don't buy this." All right. And then you get to the end, and it all comes together at the end, and it's just like it's such an amazing cliffhanger, not cliffhanger, but reveal, surprise that it made me forgive all of my confusion for the full 10 hours I was playing it of being confused, and I get to the end and it all makes sense, and I'm like, you know, that was worth it. That was a good game. That's what I'm hoping to get from this. Like I get to the end and it's just like it all makes sense. That's what I want to see. Now, will I get that? I don't know, but I'm as of now, I'm in for the ride. And I know I got some flack on Twitter today.
Yeah, I saw that.
from my quote unquote Kojima slander in the past, which frankly I'm not going back on any of that. I'm sorry. I'm not changing my mind. I have nothing of what I said in the past do I regret one bit. Kojima is a weirdo. You guys know it.
He's a weirdo.
He's a baby genius out here, man.
Kojima. But it's cool. Like I said, we need some different. We need some different in the gaming industry.
Yeah, it's like what B said. I think you just said he's a genius, right?
Yeah, he's a baby genius, man. Baby genius. Put some respect on Kojima's name out here, man.
That's that creative mind, man. He's like, you know, you dive deep into it. But I'm kind of on the other mind of it. You know, it's like, and again, kind of going back to what Slow-Mo said, it's like everything's samey. So nowadays, you get beat over the head with everything a game is about. Right? Yeah. They show you everything. Like, look at Spider-Man. Like, we knew there was no real. I mean, Spider-Man was good, but there was no real surprises. You know, from after everything that they revealed in it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of okay because it's like when you see like a movie trailer, right? And you've been there before. Like you see a movie trailer, oh, that movie looks fire. You go see it and you're like, that didn't seem like anything like what the trailer was doing, and it actually made it better or made it worse. It just depends, you know. But it's that ride. It's going for the ride. And I hope it doesn't sound like I'm just doing Kojima like defense. I'm just saying that might be all right. You know, not knowing every little detail about something before you go into it.
Yeah, and that can work. That definitely can work.
It can go against you too, but you know, but it could work, like you said.
So Forte, jump in.
Yeah, so I come in here for a second because y'all are here talking about this game that I know nothing about still. I come to give my peace of mind on it a little bit before I have to go back to work. Go ahead.
Let's hear it, man. Let's hear it, Forte.
Look, man. There's two things I figured out about this. It's classic Kojima. So I was like, okay, I see where this is going. And then I didn't know where it was going. Then I was like, okay, this makes sense. I just realized that, okay, at least I know you don't have to walk and deliver your packages everywhere. You do have a bike that you can use now. That's cool. I like how you can, he's like MacGyver and he can take stuff out of his backpack and turn it into a 50-foot ladder.
Hey, so how impressive was that ladder? I'm like, I need to get one of those at Home Depot.
When he pulled that ladder out, first the ladder was short. It was like he did like a Super Saiyan power move on it and made it larger.
Yeah, he was in his bag.
He was in his bag, though. He was like Dora the Explorer. What's going to be good for this instance? But no, I mean, it was cool. I liked it. I'm just happy people are actually talking about games and not talking about all this other BS. You know, people are actually excited for games right now, so that's a good thing. I'm like kind of hit or miss on it right now. I still want to know more about the game, but it does interest me. I'm probably closer to the Slow-Mo than anything when it comes to like interest in it. I don't think I'm like on the cop end like he is, because he like went from not interested to like, I'm gonna give it a try, knowing he gives every game a try, so he was lying for the beginning.
What? No, look, I was not lying. I literally had okay, so when the rumor came out yesterday, was it yesterday or earlier this morning? I can't remember.
It was yesterday.
It was yesterday that Death Stranding would be this year, and The Last of Us 2 got bumped. I was mad. Because I'm like, I don't care about Death Stranding. I want The Last of Us 2. So I'm like, you're bumping the game I want for a game I'm not gonna buy. Like I was like, this is making me mad. But now I'm like, okay, all right, this is looking better, and I'm looking forward to playing that. So and then maybe I'll be done with it, and moving, ready in February for The Last of Us 2, which is that date might not be real, it may get bumped.
What date? Which date? I didn't see the date.
Well, it wasn't an exact day, but it was like a month. It said February 2020.
Oh, that's what they coming out to May, June earliest.
See, that's what B was saying. He thinks he's not going to make that.
That's when Last of Us 1 came out. It came out June 9th, I believe. So I think that's going to be. I think they really try to use that as like a game going into the summer, because that's like a really dead month, and you're starting to see a lot of third-party developers bringing their games out in March, April, and even sometimes like early May. Not so much this year, but even Rage came out early May. So I think June and July are like prime season for anybody who wants to take it. And the last game that did that was Last of Us, and it did really well. It came out right after E3, which was crazy.
Yeah, OBJ in the chat says that means The Last of Us 2 and Ghost of Tsushima in the same year. OBJ, I don't even know if Ghost is.
Ghost is going to be a launch title for the PS4 and PS5.
Maybe launch. It may come out early 2021. We don't know.
That game is coming in 2020.
They got to have a game. They got to see. This is the thing. They don't want to have a game not launch with the system. Mm-hmm. Even like Last of Us is going to be a game people know they could play on it, but you want to have a game associated with the day launch of the PS5, and I think it's going to be that game.
Nope.
Well, B Money says no.
Nope.
Oh, what's it going to be then, B Money?
Nope. It's gonna be a game that nobody's seen yet.
Oh, you think
You think so?
Yes,
sir. It's gonna be like Guerrilla's game or something.
Yeah, I think
it's gonna be
Guerrilla's game over that. I think Guerrilla is doing. They're definitely doing a multiplayer game.
Guerrilla's game was also they had a launch game on PS4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's true.
Interesting, man. This is next year. Launch time for these consoles is going to be pretty high because Microsoft is targeting Halo Infinite for launch for the first time in forever. You better stop that
garbage.
Halo slander. But no, that's like the first time since the original Xbox Halo has launched with an Xbox. I mean that's going to be some compelling.
Forte, what's going on over your store, man? It sounds like someone's shoplifting.
No, we're scanning inventory.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
man, working.
I don't know if shoplifting sounds like that. You would hear burglar alarms and stuff like that if that was the case, bro.
Yeah.
No.
So.
No, but that's I mean, but the biggest thing is I heard. What do you think the temperature of the community is around this? Some people, I see people on the Xbox side saying Kojima is overrated and this trailer is overrated, and I don't understand what the heck they're talking about because the man ain't do nothing to them. And then you got the other people on the other side saying that they still don't know what the game is, but they're interested, like Slow-Mo. So where do you think the majority falls at?
He did something to them. He didn't go and make a game for Xbox.
Yeah, that's true. That probably is exactly
what it is. I promise you this. If Kojima Productions was one of the companies that Microsoft signed, they wouldn't be saying the same thing right now.
Oh no,
they'd be hyping it. Yeah,
hyping it. Yeah.
So I immediately, like most cases, disregard that.
Yeah, I think the community kind of falls somewhere in the middle. I think they were throwing out stats that this is like the second largest viewed game of like recent memory. Like
it was like 166K.
Yeah.
Did y'all see that? Did y'all see Almighty Spartan's tweet saying that this is the biggest stream ever, and everybody says PlayStation needs E3? I was like, and Luca was like, and Luca texted said, "That's nice." And I said, "So what's your point about this?" I mean, everybody wants to. I mean, the thing is, people don't realize people want to know what this game is, even if they're not interested in it. They just want to know, like, what is this game?
Well, I think
So
part of it too. I mean, this is Kojima's first game outside of Konami and Metal Gear.
yeah, but I
And
think
so I
if people
think
knew if people knew what the game was, I don't think it would have been that big of a swell. I think a lot has to do with the fact that people that don't even care about the game tuned in because they're like, dude, what is this game that they keep showing? And you're finally getting some type of answers. I mean, to a point at least. But I still don't know what it is. But I think that's why a lot of people looked is like, dude, what is this game? What is all this hype about? And some people, and that's why, like what they said, that's why it's a lot of fracture out there because people still don't know what this game is.
yeah. Well, let me give some context to the game itself and the plot. Because some of that information is out there right now. Plot involves Sam Norman Reedus, who we saw in the trailers. He works for Corpse Disposal Team 6, so he's not a FedEx delivery man like we thought. And he's part of Bridges and the United Cities of America. Sam and his crew are retrieving dead bodies in a presumably near future world where animal life appears extinct and the environment is in ruin. We saw that. That was very clear in the trailer. Things get weirder when Reedus and his team are stalked by invisible foes who leave a trail of oily handprints and seem to detect people using sound. These enemies might be linked to the 5 spectral figures that Reedus glimpses at the end of the first Death Stranding trailer, but more of that later. I'm reading. By the way, I've been reading this from GamesRadar.com. You can go to their website and check this out.
Oh, shout out to the 11,000 people that were watching an oily video of fingerprints in the water for 24 hours yesterday.
That's crazy.
I was looking at that. I was like, dude, are they literally just watching a GIF on the screen for 24 hours? And
pretty much
people in there.
And they said it had more viewership than Anthem. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, everything.
Right, right.
I think it would be something if Anthem actually had viewership.
Oh wow, we'll get that in a minute. Hey, by the way, guys, shocker that Kojima admitted his team didn't understand the plot of Death Stranding when he first explained it. Big shocker.
Yeah. That's encouraging.
Yeah. Lindsay Wagner said Kojima took 3 hours to explain the game and sell her on her role in the game.
Wow.
I mean, 3 hours.
Forte. Think about the fact that okay, so look how all the attention Death Stranding has gotten today, right? And it's not at E3. Now I'm not saying that Ninja Theory's game is on this level, right? Or as going to get as much hype as this, but wouldn't it have made sense? And wouldn't we see the same amount of attention of Ninja Theory's reveal of their game like last month or months earlier on Inside Xbox? Wouldn't it still have been the same amount of, not necessarily the same amount of people watching, because people already have a perception of Inside Xbox that they ain't never going to show anything. So they get on average like 5,000 to 6,000 people watching on average. But the fact that, like, if they actually were showing things like that, that people would tune in to Inside Xbox more, because there's a potential that you're going to show something, groundbreaking, something brand new that usually would have only been reserved for E3.
Right. So, okay, I'm gonna unpack this because that's it's actually pretty complicated on what I think is going on here. First of all, you're seeing the masterful side of Sony marketing all over again. They come out and tell their people months ago that we're not going to be at E3. So you got the player base all up in a frenzy saying that, E3, you got people like BG out here saying that Sony is the seasoning on the chicken and stuff. And people are buying into that. So, I mean, with that narrative being in place, Sony says, we're going to bring our biggest hitters, and we don't have to be at E3. We can announce them before E3, and then think about what happens if Last of Us gets announced tomorrow. They actually say it's supposed to be an state of play tomorrow. Which is being rumored, which we don't know. But happen if they shut it down with Last of Us tomorrow? It's going to be even worse. So I just think it's a player base that's been kind of deprived over the last couple of months. That's super excited to see that they have something to look forward to and know exactly what the games are going to be. And then they're also taking pleasure in throwing in Xbox people faces saying, look, Sony don't have to be there. Microsoft, you think Microsoft got the power, but Sony still has it. So I think the excitement is really based around that. But yeah, if they would have showed the game early, I mean, who wouldn't be excited to see a new game other than what they've been showing at Inside Xbox? But the hype level has a lot to do with the dryness from what PlayStation's been showing people for a while now. And it's been, and they're actually talking about the newer games that everybody wanted to know about instead of the third party or second party games that they've been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I mean, I see that, but I'm just thinking.
But you're
like,
right. You're
yeah,
right. I'm not
anyone could do this. Like, I don't think this is special to just Sony. Like, Sony's games are just so great that they can just do it at any point. They can just drop games at any point, and it's going to be pandemonium. It's going to be everyone.
Yeah, I mean, like when you look at it, Xbox had the same dryness. Like what we've been talking about for Xbox this entire year,
Yep.
nothing.
Yep.
So like they have plenty of opportunity to ensue that same hype, but
yeah,
exactly.
once again, it's way to E3.
Yeah, if they would have shown, if they would not have held all of what they're going to show at E3 back for E3 and instead have revealed it ahead of time and then also shown it again but maybe in more detail or even bigger trailer at E3, people wouldn't have the same mentality about Xbox and the games in general from Xbox that they have now. There's people still out there with the Xbox got no games mentality. And what is Microsoft doing to prove that wrong? But so far, yeah, well, wait to E3. But why should I wait to E3? Show me what you got. I'm a consumer, and right now it's like I'm looking at you for like, well, what are you going to show? Because they can show Stranding, and I'm buying that. So what are you going to show me to tell me that I should be in your ecosystem?
Well, guess what, Slow-Mo? They got 2 hours to change your mind on everything in the next week. So it would all be for naught. If they leave a lot of stuff on the cutting room floor because they can't get to all of it, then we can definitely talk about how a lot of the stuff that they announced at E3 could have been shown in other venues, especially if they do like quick passovers. Because that's the one thing I think a lot of people are worried about. How much time are you going to dedicate to certain games? How much time are you going to dedicate to this? Because if you're going to be having a 2-hour show and you're going to have third party and first party on board, how much time is going to be allocated to that stuff? If some of the games like Ninja Theory's game ends up being short and people don't understand what the game is and there's a lot of confusion around it, then your situation will come into play. They'll be like, well, they could have spent more time on that during Inside Xbox if they would have announced it there. So
exactly.
So I agree with that. It just really comes down to what they doing overall.
Yeah, because I know the first thing people said when Sony pulled out was like, it's like Microsoft's show to win or lose, and that does ring true. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you go to a concert, you have an opening act for a reason because you go to the show and it's just like that one person. It could be hit or miss, right? So at least you can leave saying, "Hey, this person lit it up, that person, whatever." So you out there by yourself, it could go really well. If it goes bad, then that's all people have to talk about. Because at least when you're kind of sharing the stage or sharing the weekend with like the other two, people kind of have things that they bounce back and forth, whether it's good or bad. Even with the whole talks of who won what. You know what I'm saying? So you're not there on that stage by yourself. They got to definitely bring it. There's really not that much room for, for just open, like dead mic, for lack of a better phrase.
Yeah. So all this did was amplify the importance of what Microsoft needs to do. The incitement level around Death Strandings, and if they do what people think they're going to do tomorrow with Last of Us and announce a release date on that puts the pressure solely back on Xbox to perform because it's easy for two announcements that were made in the break of dawn to overshadow their whole conference if they don't live up to the expectations that people are looking forward to.
Yeah, but people also need to keep it in check, and that's the thing too. Is like, like overhype.
Well, I mean, we keep it in check, but we already know half this community are full of people that just they swing on little thin branches.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
That's how their emotional state is. It's like it's not a strong foundation for most people in this community. They live and die by the system that they rep, which is sad in itself, but it is what it is.
Yeah, they're going to be those who, no matter what Microsoft shows, Microsoft can show the greatest game ever, like the greatest reveal ever for a game, and they'll be like,
yeah,
it was okay, whatever.
I can tell you this one thing. I don't know if OBJ is still in here. There is more of a chance of OBJ saying Xbox's their briefing is trash than saying it's great. I can tell you that right now.
He said,
buddy. And that's just based on their past, what people think their past announcements been like. A lot of people, most Xbox people will say that it was good for the last couple of years at E3, but you ask a lot of people on the other side of the lane, they'll say, well, shoot, PlayStation was just as bad as Xbox, and Xbox wasn't no better. So.
Yeah, it's a 2-hour show. I'm thinking half of it is going to be dedicated to third parties, and the other half will be dedicated to what Microsoft is doing in the future. Half an hour on games, their first party games, probably another half hour on xCloud and
that would be a problem.
And Scarlet Systems.
They're going to spend a lot of time talking about xCloud.
And that's going to be the problem for a lot of people right there, I can tell you.
I think it's going to be spaced out a little bit more than that, because they always have their segment for the idea of Xbox stuff.
Yeah, true.
That's true.
So they'll have that, and then they'll show a large demo for Gears 5, because that's coming this fall.
Yep.
So that demo will probably run a good 5 to 8 minutes or some shit like that. And then, there's no Forza game, so they got to show Ori. I'm sure they'll show that and some, timely fashion. That'll probably be another 3 to 5 minutes, depending on, what they show. I believe the second game has co-op.
I'm going to go with 3 minutes for Ori, just because it's a platformer, and it's not a prominent IP. I mean, like, the first game was received well as a new IP, but people still have to be reminded that Ori 2 is coming out this year.
Yeah, because nobody's talking about it. Microsoft is not talking about it.
Coming out this year.
They see, like even Microsoft doesn't talk.
I'm joking,
about it.
By the way.
And that game, that first game, I still have to play it. I have it. I bought it, and I know Forte will be like, another game you haven't played yet. But like, everyone who's played the game has had nothing but praise for it.
Yeah, it's a great game.
And it's just like, you have that should be something they should be shouting from the mountaintops. This game is coming out and within the next 3 months. And that's like, I think Rand said it last week when he was here, and I don't know that was something that he had heard and he wasn't supposed to say, or maybe he just it don't matter. But he said August, right? So I'm like, if this game was supposed to come out in August, like, okay, so Days Gone came out what, April?
Yep.
In January, we were seeing Sony hype up Days Gone, and then hyped it up even more, as each month passed until the game came out.
Well, Forte, Slomo, we've always talked about Microsoft having a issue with marketing.
but yet it's still here. Like, everything else keeps changing. Oh, you got a new guy in charge. Well, he's been in charge for a while, but you got a new focus on first party development. You're buying up all these studios. Mm-hmm. You're saying, oh, we're not going to lose the power narrative anymore, and that remains to be seen. All this stuff is happening, but the marketing is still the same. It's the same trash marketing. It has to change. Like, at some point, you have to hold the marketing department accountable. And no, I don't want to see C-list celebrities playing Ori 2 at Inside Xbox. I don't care.
Boy.
Like, I don't care about them.
Man, you know it's gonna happen.
I mean, like, it's just like, but like they don't understand their audience. They don't understand the demographic of the people that play those kind of games. It's just they just don't get it at all. And Sony has their finger on the pulse of the community.
Man, I was said Slow-Mo, like they to me, correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like they listen to 1% of their audience.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, Eric. I don't feel like they engage the broader community. They engage the people that are on Twitter, the ones that are like supporting them on Twitter, and then that's it.
Yeah, it's like they've done the thing where, you know, we've seen for centuries where, you know, the rich convince the poor to stand up for them. Like, you know, we're going to raise taxes, and you know, for the 1% and then poor people are the first ones to stand up. Well, why are you going to do that? Because if I ever make $2 million, then I got to pay taxes. Like, do you make $2 million now? Right. So it's the same thing. Well, you know, they don't have to do this and that, but they got all the money. They look how much money they make off of the Game Pass, and it's like that doesn't. What does that mean? You know, I'm a consumer in this. It doesn't mean anything. It's like, give me tangible. You know, and then they step up to the mic and they go power, and everyone's like, he said power. You know,
we'll have the most powerful console this generation.
The
16 teraflops.
Yeah,
that's all fine and dandy.
Our teraflops have teraflops.
Our teraflops had teraflops. Well, those teraflops and teraflops too.
The funny thing is, and I don't want this to happen because I'm a fan of Xbox, but part of me wants to see what would happen in the community if Microsoft doesn't live up to the expectation. You know, not even overhype of the expectations, just normal expectations that people just don't like what they're doing. I wonder what the Xbox community, what their pulse would be then, especially the people that are always saying that Microsoft's going to do this and Microsoft's going to do that, and they're just championing it just to a fault. Will they continue to keep doing that? And that's the thing I'm really interested to see. I don't want it to happen, but I just don't think some people are going to keep the same energy.
Forte, I can tell you what will happen.
They'll
blame everyone else but Microsoft.
And that's what people been doing.
They'll blame the media.
8 years.
They'll blame the media, and they'll blame the media again.
Yeah. Well, at least you're here to defend them.
Let me add, because I know you guys see this like on the timelines too, and you see people say, you know, they're hyped, you know, they can see more about Death Stranding, they're hyped to see more about The Last of Us 2, whatever the case may be. And then you see people say, well, they've even given you a release date on that. It's like, but at the same time, guys, you're hyping every time the studio is signed, and then you turn around and say, well, it takes time for them to make the games. What's better, knowing that tangibly you have games coming, whether you got the release date or not, you know they exist, or guessing and hoping that all the acquisitions turn out well and you get something good out of it.
Yeah, I see it a lot too. You know what I mean? Every time someone brings up a PlayStation game, everybody's like, oh, well, wait until, you know what I mean, Ninja Theory's new IP, or wait until, you know what I mean, like all these other companies bring out new IPs. It's like, we don't even know what those games are yet. So to get hyped up or throw those in the conversation, like it's kind of pointless. You know what I mean? Until you have something tangible, you can say like, you know, Ninja Theory's new IP has a name and we know what the game is about. Like, how can you really speak on it? Yes, they do have games coming, but we don't know exactly what it is, and we don't know if it's actually going to compete on whatever, you know, other game you're talking about.
Man, that Ninja Theory thing still drives me crazy. And I told you guys that when they first signed, I was like, there's a handful of us that already knew what that studio was capable of. But everybody who ignored them, now all of a sudden they're oh my God, that Hellblade game, that looked pretty fire. Like,
yeah.
They've been doing this for a long time, people.
Yeah, they have. They really have been for a very, very long time.
That kills me. That's funny to me.
Or the people with Obsidian, and you know, like, oh yeah, Obsidian's amazing. I'm like, name a single Obsidian game.
You just now.
But we already know what the narrative. We already know what the narrative is going to be if Microsoft comes it out and knocks it out the park. It's going to be, let's say let's say Ninja Theory comes out and their game is slamming and everybody loves the direction of it. People are going to be out there saying, well, Microsoft had to buy that. They couldn't develop it from the ground up with their own team, so they had to go out and buy a developer to get that game. So
well, I mean, people have been saying that. People have been saying that since last year about
it's going to be it's going to be more amplified now once people start seeing the games, though.
I mean, I think that's to me that's a beside the point type thing. Who cares if they went out and bought studios? Who cares? That's what smart businesses do. They dress if they can't.
Well, people don't think about what smart businesses do.
No, I know.
Yeah, I mean, but they act like Sony developed all their studios.
No, they didn't.
They did not. They purchased the majority of
bought Naughty Dog.
Yeah, they bought Naughty Dog. Come on now, like this.
Well, you know what they're going to say is Naughty Dog. Well, this is okay. So this is what most people say. Halo was a game that was already made when Microsoft bought them. Then they're going to say Gears of War was already a game when they bought them. Now, Forza they built from the ground up. That's the one game they did build from the ground up. Whereas Sony, they bought Naughty Dog, but they built Last of Us and Uncharted from the ground up with PlayStation. It wasn't after they already did it. So that's like the narrative that people spin. And I can understand the narrative because that's kind of how it's been. But we also know that Microsoft is the type of company that has so much money they can throw it around any way they want to. Mm-hmm. It would be nice to see, like, especially the Initiative. I think that's the one studio that really has to show out because whatever they're building is going to be something that was built under them.
Right.
And that's the one that people are going to pay the most attention to because, as much as people hate it, I mean, Microsoft, none of the games that Microsoft made were made directly under them. It was something that they just bought and made. Now they made Halo what it is because of the backing of Microsoft. So Halo wouldn't be what it is without Microsoft, but it still wasn't an IP that was thought of by them. I think that's what people look forward to the most. And I think that's why people want to see what E3 is going to be like for them because they want to see those experiences that Microsoft comes up with.
Yeah.
But does that really even matter? Like, I don't care.
It doesn't matter to a normal gamer.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I just don't care if they if they bought an IP and a developer. Like for what there's a theme, and I've read a lot of the interviews from like Brian Fargo of In Exile and I can't remember the guy's name, but one of the lead guys from Obsidian. And Ninja Theory and Undead Labs, not Undead Labs, but Compulsion. And the common theme with all of them was that they said Microsoft saw something that we were working on that we haven't shown yet. And they really, really liked it. And that was like the catalyst for them wanting to purchase them. And so, yeah, like they were working on those games before they got purchased by Microsoft. But so what? When they come out, they're still games that you're only going to get on Microsoft platform. So big deal. like this whole mindset that they had to go buy these people, and those people already had the ingenuity to make those games prior. I mean, is that going to change now that Microsoft owns them?
No.
No, it's still Ninja Theory is still Ninja Theory. Obsidian is still Obsidian. Playground is still Playground.
And the best thing Microsoft said was, and these developers backed it up, and they were like, they're letting us do what we want to do. They're just basically fronting us, not getting involved. Because remember, that was like a worry of people. It's like, oh, are they going to get involved and try to change the culture of what these studios do? And it's like, no, they're recognizing like where the weakness was and addressing it. And for the longest, when we were doing Brad, that's what we were talking about. We caught hell for it. People thought we were being haters, but we're like, no, we understand, for them, power is important. I want to know what their game output is going to be. And, they addressed that. And then, we definitely, okay, we'll give them time to figure that out. I just kind of laugh at the people that dog on one side, for their game releases. But, on the other side, and that goes both ways. On the other side, you don't have anything to say.
Right. Yeah, and I like I said, and I agree with both of you. I think that is a very short-sighted way to look at it. I just say I know that's what the conversation is going to be, and I know no matter what Ninja Theory shows, it's going to be looked at like Microsoft didn't, build it themselves. Now the next game that comes out, it will be all Microsoft. So whatever Ninja Theory builds after this next game, people, will give them more credit for that, but. It's short-sighted, but, what we do in this industry is always look at all the scenarios, and I know that's going to be one scenario that's going to pop up consistently.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Or it's going to be if the rumors are true that this Ninja Theory game is multiplayer, people are, I'm telling you, you're going to see it. The majority of the talk is going to be Xbox made them make this kind of game, even though the game been in development.
I might lose it too, though, man.
Let's even look. The game been in development since before Hellblade released.
Right.
So
yeah, and that's the opposite side of the spectrum.
Yeah, you
No,
can't
I'm not
just
saying
up
I
and just
wouldn't- I'm
throw
not saying I would play it.
multiplayer. You can't just up and just throw multiplayer in a game like after it's already in production. That's something that has to be decided. Like they have to code multiplayer into the like they have to program that. That has to be in the code. You have to make that decision back when you're back in pre-production.
Right.
You can't just like, you know what? We're gonna do multiplayer now. All right, I'll be just an extra year. No big deal.
No, they'll definitely catch the shade because that is sort of the thing that Microsoft had always been known for. And I still maintain if they would have let Platinum just make a single player game, Dragon, Scalebound probably would have been okay. But it's like, what do they know about making multiplayer games? But it was that Microsoft DNA. It's like it has to have the campaign, it has to have a multiplayer, right? Yeah. So the Ninja Theory thing, yeah, that was a game that they had already had planned. That's fine. The fact of the matter is, if that game is anything less than not want to say stellar, but it has to be a home run of sorts. It can't be a grounder. It can't be like State of Decay or something like that. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be like that joint, or they're gonna catch hell. If the game is good, no one's gonna say anything.
So it has to show a new direction for Microsoft first party. I think that's what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
And
it's out of the realm of what we expect from Ninja Theory games.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm not gonna sit here and say that they can't do that. You know what I'm saying? They could very well deliver a great, co-op experience. But I'm saying if it comes out and it ain't that, Chief, they're gonna catch hell for it.
Yeah, that's true. OBJ has a good point in the chat. He says it makes you think that's why Microsoft picked them up. So, like, maybe Microsoft, as before we were talking about Microsoft saw what they were working on and decided to purchase them. Maybe it was like, oh, you making a multiplayer game? Okay, yeah. Let's talk. You want creative freedom? You can do whatever you want, baby. you can make whatever you want. You already make
drink, baby.
Right? Yeah, you already making what I like. So come on in.
Oh man, but
yeah,
Forte's right.
They're already
gonna be under the microscope.
Yeah, I'm kind of want to really talk this E3 stuff just because I know I'm not going to be here next week. The really when you guys really get deep into it.
But, we're gonna have Lord Cognito joining us, man. You're gonna miss out.
I'm gonna miss out. I'll be listening from my hammock while I'm on vacation. So
right near the beach.
Just make sure you don't take pictures of the sunset with your feet in the picture.
Hey, leave me alone, right?
Because we know how people are.
I was relaxing.
After drinking their hand, showing their nasty bunions on the camera. messing up a perfect picture of a sunset.
Hey, Forte, don't you got inventory to do, man?
Go ahead, Forte. I ain't seen no bunions. I mean, he could have used a pedicure, but he ain't.
Y'all have jokes. All right.
But I wanted to do a quick question for you guys. Who do you guys think? Well, two questions. It's a two-parter. How many? We know Microsoft is going to announce studio acquisitions. That's a guarantee, right? How many do you think they're going to announce, and who are those companies?
Oh man,
I don't know, man. That's IO Interactive, I think, could be one. But that's been rumored for a long time. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I think the max they announced is 3.
I'm with that. I think they'll announce 3.
I think they're going to announce 3 too. I think IO is going to be one. I think they're going to find a way to make a power move and get I forget the name of the studio away from Sega.
From Sega?
Sega.
What's the name of the developer that makes Age of Empire?
Oh,
I know what you're talking about.
yeah. Darn it. Hold on, I'll look it up now because I can't. It's like the name is right on the tip of my tongue.
Because I think that would be. I think we still haven't seen a lot of information around that conversation and the visit that Sega had with Phil.
Sega.
So, are you talking about Relic? Is it
Relic?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Relic.
Yeah, it could be Relic. There is still some of that talk. Cloveril was still saying that he had heard about them potentially trying to steal a developer that was has worked closely with Sony, with second party developer for Sony, but yet he hadn't heard anything in a while. I don't know if that's gone through or not, but like the only one I can really think of will probably be IO. But it probably will be a studio that we just comes out of left field. Like Ninja Theory came out of left field, and Exile came out of left field. Like no one thought that those studios would have got purchased. Compulsion, honestly, too, because no one was thinking about Compulsion like that. So I'm thinking it's going to be probably three. IO is probably the one that is just like, yeah, everyone kind of figures IO at this point, but the other two, I don't have no idea. I was kind of wondering what you guys were thinking.
What if they purchased no one? Would you guys be disappointed if they made no announcements of new studio acquisitions?
Nope.
Nah, I'll be good. I'll be fine. They have the same number of studios as Sony, so I mean they have a lot, but for what they are attempting to do, based on what they've told their investors, they need like double what they have to try to attempt something that hasn't really been done before, which is drop a AAA to high quality AA game every quarter. Like you're gonna need about 20 plus developers under your wings to do that, and they have the money to do that, so it's possible. But I mean that's something like, and you can expect to see hopefully in like 2024. Like no time soon is that something like that is going to be a reality. But in order for them to get there, they need to be purchasing quality studios in order to, to get that ball rolling, because that's something that's just not going to happen overnight.
Yeah, that's true. All right, guys. I just wanted to come on here and speak with my family because I missed you guys. It's been a while. Slow-mo, have fun on your vacation. Don't think about games while you're gone.
Oh, I won't. Don't worry.
Even though you're going to be watching E3 the whole time, so technically you'll be thinking about games.
Yeah, right.
I'm coming back this Saturday. I should be back Saturday evening, which is of the 8th, which is the night before Xbox's press conference. So.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, I'll be back at home and kicking back and watching that. I'm bringing my Switch with me. And I won't have it at the beach. That's an inside joke for Forte.
Right, yeah, inside joke at the beach.
Yeah, no, but I'm gonna have it with me. And I'll have a little gaming time, man.
Cool.
Yeah, but
all right, yeah, cool. Well, be safe, man. Have fun with the kids and everything. Everybody else. I will be back all next month. I have no inventories to do, so next month is completely open for me. And can't wait. Thank God.
No doubt, man. Well, Forte, we appreciate you coming on, man. I know it's busy. I work retail. I know inventory's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. But
I appreciate
everybody
it, man.
here, yeah, but everybody in chat, you know where you can find me at Gaming Forte everywhere. Appreciate it. And
not cool.
Make sure you hit that like button before y'all leave up out of here. These guys deserve it. And I talk to y'all later.
Thank you, man.
All right, bro. All right, back to the chat for me.
Later, bro.
Later, man.
Later.
Yo, that's crazy, man. June 9th. It seems like it's right around the corner.
Yep.
Right around here in no time.
Yep.
Oh my goodness, man. It's wow.
Time
flies.
Someone said, Square Enix is going to finally reveal the Avengers game on the 10th.
Oh, are they? Okay, that's good, man. I'm looking forward to that.
I'm definitely looking forward to that. I almost completely forgot about that game just because I haven't heard anything about it for so long. Yeah, man. I know a lot of people saying, "Oh, there's no hype for E3." I'm always hyped for seeing new games.
I'm always
I'm always ready. Like raring to go. I wish it was tomorrow, so I can get it started now. But
yeah. Hey, speaking of E3, did you guys see EA's lineup? Anthem is dead.
What
no mention of Anthem anywhere.
Told you it's a wrap. Anthem's in the bushes. It's over with. EA, you're done, man.
EA
just stick to releasing Madden and FIFA, because that's really all you got right about now.
And it's what's it called? Star Wars game.
Hey, fingers crossed on a Star Wars game. We don't know what it's gonna be yet.
That's true. I mean, if they show more at E3 and it stinks up the joint, it's not looking good for EA.
Oh man, look, first off, Anthem only has less than 4,000 people playing that game.
Oh my god,
that's crazy.
On Xbox, less than 4 freaking thousand.
Yo, this is BioWare.
You can just throw a rock at a game that's on Xbox. They probably got more people playing it than Anthem.
Yeah,
this is a Xbox marketed game that looks really bad on their part. When if I'm a publisher and Microsoft is is courting me for publishing, for marketing, right? I'm like, well, what about Anthem? Anthem flopped, and it was not Microsoft's fault. The game sucks, but on your own platform, Destiny has had its issues, but on PlayStation has always been going strong, right? At no point has it been 4,000 people, less than 4,000 people playing Destiny 2 on PlayStation, right? So this whole thing is just it's amazing.
It's the biggest flop, I think, this console generation.
Yeah, it is. I have to agree with that.
Considering the pedigree, BioWare, this is the biggest flop.
I know people hope for the best, man, but I remember there was some people putting on a cape for that game.
Yes, they were.
Yeah,
people saying that it's better than Division 2. Get out of here.
Y'all might want to hold up, man, because I said, I was like, it would be one thing if BioWare wanted to make just a co-op, add co-op to their formula, right? I'd be like, okay, they might be able to pull that off. But go in and try to do a Destiny, a Division, and whatever. I'm like, the people doing that don't always get it right. And they've been at it for a while.
They didn't.
Yeah, I mean, there's end-game issues with Division 2 right now.
They didn't even decide to make it a loot shooter until after that damn reveal.
Hey, Slow-Mo. OBJ Don said Anthem is Kwame Brown.
Oh my god. That's such a great reference. Only a DC resident would go there.
We had the number one pick that year. It was terrible.
You were the chosen one.
It's Slow-Mo. They keep sliding down the mountain faster after the fact, where they say it's been in early access.
Don't do not try to do a what's the word I'm looking for here? Try to do a revisionist history on this. This ain't no damn early access.
Enrique, you know what that remind me of? They try to fool people. It's like, I heard you did some jokes about me. No, you didn't. Maybe I didn't.
Hey, remember? Yeah, Mr. T. Yeah. I heard you make some jokes about me. No, I didn't. Maybe you didn't. Gonna beat up the fool, told me them lies.
They gave us the early access. No, you didn't. Maybe I didn't.
But it's crazy. It's crazy. It's like it just fell off the cliff. And you know what's funny? And you're right, E. There were so many people that had their capes on, were defending this game. Till they were like, nah, this game is garbage. It had disaster written all over it. And I feel bad for BioWare because guys worked their asses off, but it was just not. He was probably doomed from the get-go. And they were supposed to release free content this month, and not even a peep on that. So that's not happening.
No, they did come out with a tweet saying they released new legendary missions.
Oh, did they? Okay.
But this is a trickle. This is a trickle of content. And considering how long it's been since, they went radio silent for a month.
Yeah.
And considering how long it's been since there's been any, kind of content drop, what they provided ain't good enough. Like you need to have like some they need their, as someone said, they need their Taken King.
Yep.
They need a Taken King level of quality and a huge content expansion to completely change things around, because like Destiny was never at this bad, but it was pretty bad for Destiny 1 before the Taken King. People was like, that game sucked, I'm not going back to that. Taken King came out, people was like, oh, that's kind of what I want to see. Okay, and then people gave it a shot again, and then it revitalized that IP.
Wow. Hey guys, real quick, the live chat distracted by OLED said Fallout 76 is the Greg Oden.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh my God.
Fallout 76 ain't got no knees, huh?
Nope. Fallout 76 also took selfies of themselves naked.
Oh no.
Do you remember that?
Oh no, I don't remember.
Greg
that.
Oden did that. Took selfies of himself with his junk hanging out.
Oh, stop.
It's almost like stop. No, he really did. It was pretty embarrassing, man. Like it was just like you know when you hit rock bottom, when your knees go bad, you're an NBA player, and then someone you tweet a personal selfie to just decides to release that. It's not a good look.
Yeah, and look, in OBJ, I agree with OBJ. The core gameplay is great. The core gameplay is fun. Like that's what I got out of it.
What core gameplay? Flying around?
No, Enrique, did you play the game?
What? Anthem? Yeah. I flew around. I shot stuff. It was boring,
dude. All right, no, you didn't get the gameplay mechanics.
No, I did. You know what? I'm just giving the game a hard time. No, the premise of it was good. Like locking on and all that other shit you could do, and but it's just boring.
Yeah, they had
man. I tried to tell y'all when we first started talking about this game after everybody played it, something was wrong with the game. It wasn't right, man.
They had a good foundation.
I've learned to listen to you now, by the way. You tend to be pretty spot on with stuff, man. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Slim.
I was like, yo, the aesthetic of this game looks great, but I'm like,
it did look great.
Because it's Frostbite. Everything Frostbite does looks amazing. It's just behind it is where all the problems are.
Frostbite. By the way, do you see Frostbite EA drop that demo on how like next gen physics are going to work in games? They like air. Did you guys see that video?
They need more tools. They need more tools already preset in the engine.
Yeah.
In the suite of tools that you get with the engine, in order for their developers who they're forcing to use it to be able to use it efficiently and be able to troubleshoot things and get rid of bugs easily. That's the problem with Frostbite. When it comes to these game engines, it comes to three that you get your graphics, you get your sound, and you get your logic. And the logic part is where Frostbite is always like failing. It's people can't do anything easily in that engine, and it's been said by numerous developers all over the years that like the simplest thing in Unreal or any other engine to fix that would take like a couple of hours or a couple of days takes weeks in Frostbite. And that's not efficient. That's not it wasn't started to be what EA has tried to turn it into. They tried to turn it into their own Unreal engine, but Unreal was built from the ground up to be what it is today.
Hey, Slimmo, real quick, man. Speaking of Anthem, 55 minutes game rant posted this on their website. New Anthem update is ruining matchmaking for players. There you go.
Yeah, this is
the biggest. I'm telling you, this is the biggest. I don't know if you guys agree with me or disagree with me, but this is the biggest flop of a game this console generation. I mean, just considering the pedigree.
Yeah, with the amount of hype that was around it.
Yeah. And then you see something like the Decima engine, which is like doesn't use up a lot of resources, looks beautiful, and has all the tools needed for any of the Sony first party studios to be able to just pick it up.
You could build any game in that. No problem.
Kojima has cranked out Death Stranding in a relatively small, like short period of time when you think about game development.
I mean, well, considering his game development, I mean, he didn't have to build an engine this time.
Yeah. He didn't have to build an engine, but just the fact that he could just like something that he didn't build, he can just pick it up in his studio that he built from the ground up, can just come in and just use it and then use it efficiently. Like that's a well-made engine.
The scalability of that engine is pretty damn impressive, man. Like that's the fact that he came in and used it, and Guerrilla came in and helped him out. And I mean, what was the turnaround of the game? 3 years or something? Is it 3 or 4 years development? Is that?
Yes, it's been about
3 years.
Yeah. And that's something that like that be Guerrilla who made it coming in and helping. That's key, because that's something that Jason Schreier brought up in his article about Anthem, that BioWare didn't get any help. At the most, EA was taking the best engineers they had who knew how to use it to go work on their more profitable IPs like FIFA.
I gotta be honest with you, Slimo. I'm not so sure about Dragon Age now, man.
Dragon Age is, look, I already said I wasn't sure about Dragon Age when Mike Laidlaw and David Gator left the company. Those two guys made Dragon Age what it is. Now, I'm not saying like all the hundreds of other people that worked on the game didn't do anything, but those two, David Gator was the lead writer. He created the lore, the story, all the major plot points. He wrote the novels that came out that filled in the gaps in between, or the story in between the game releases. He's gone. And he worked on Anthem, and he said, I'm done with this crap. He's out. Mike Laidlaw had a great idea for Dragon Age 4, and they canceled it so that to force his whole team to go work on Anthem. And he said, I'm out. So he's now out of here. Mike Laidlaw was the creative director for all of the Dragon Age games. So now who's working on Dragon Age 4? I know man. Mark Darr is there, and Mark Darr has always worked on it. And Darr is he's a good dude. He's a quality guy, but Darr can't do it on his own.
No, he can't, man.
They've lost too many people.
Casey Hudson's overseeing it, but he can't do it all himself either.
Yeah, Casey's the head of the studio. He can't get into the weeds with this stuff anymore. Like they have lost quality people, and the people who have replaced these quality people have not hit the mark.
Guys, by the way, Don't Call Me Dan says Death Stranding Collector's Edition already sold out at eBay. I mean, Best Buy.
Dang, that game's going to sell big time, yo.
Do you guys think it's going to be a big system seller for PlayStation 4?
I don't know about a system seller, but I think it's going to sell very well. I think
I think it'll get in that 5 to 10 million range.
Yeah, yeah. It'll sell more than Detroit, but less than God of War, I think.
Let me ask you guys something. If you guys think that if this game gets panned critically by reviewers, do people kind of come back and say, "See, you never go full on Kojima"? And maybe he just.
I'm gonna say that.
When has a Kojima game ever got a bad review?
That's true.
I mean, that's true. I'm not saying this game is going to get a review. I'm just saying, like, what if? What if this game doesn't review well? What's the feedback? What's the reaction going to be like? I think
this game doesn't review well, it would have deserved it, because I think the media loves them some Kojima, and they will give him the benefit of the doubt more than anything. If it doesn't review well, there must have been some critical, like, out of this world stuff going on here. Like, critical errors had to have happened in order for it to get that point.
I don't know, guys. That ladder scene kind of messed me up a little bit.
The ladder, it doesn't make sense.
I'm like, what? This is like, it went from like 2 feet to like 100 feet long. I'm just like, ladder. Do I want to climb ladders in the game? It's more than that. I get that, but
look, I'll take that over the PlayStation pick me up. I forgot what people call it, where in all the first party games is always like one,
boost.
The boost, the PlayStation boost. Like, I'll take this logic, physics defying ladder over, hey, help me up over this ledge again. I'm like, that's in every damn game. So,
yeah, it is. Yeah, exactly. With the white markers and everything. No, it's definitely an interesting game. I mean, it's I think if anything, it's going to get people are going to credit, because it's like It's an open world action adventure game, but it's not gonna. I think it's not gonna be like anything we've played before.
Yo,
You know?
Ryan Landis says, so the throat baby you're okay with, but the latter just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Yeah. OBJ.Son says a Tron cycle. It's selling 5 to 10 million off that alone. Yeah, after the same thing. I was like, oh, it's a Tron cycle.
But I did want to say something that
Yeah.
I was meaning to say about Anthem, but I forgot.
That is garbage.
Well, yeah, one that is true, but the other thing is that I said back last year when Mark Darr got first put on the project, and then he tweeted out, "Hey, ask me any Anthem questions and I'll answer it."
Mm-hmm.
And he was answering people's questions, but I asked the question that he did not answer, and I didn't really, I didn't know. I was kind of hoping he.
What did you ask him, Slow-Mo? When is this game gonna get content?
This is before it came out. This had to been like August, September, or something like that. But I said, so Mark, hopefully this doesn't happen. But if the game is not received well the way Andromeda was, is EA going to pull support of it within 3 months like they did Andromeda? He did not answer that question. And then later on, like a day or so later, he said, some questions I can't answer just because, come on, guys. Obviously, I can't answer some of these questions. So I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure he's talking about questions like mine. But I think my question is a good question because look at it now. Like Andromeda launched, was critically panned, was a meme. It was a meme machine, a meme generator of look at this goofy nonsense. And then within 3 months, they had canceled the DLC and they were done. And the studio making the game was disbanded within 3 months.
Sad, man.
So, hey, the game just came out in February. And at E3, you're not even going to talk about it?
Yeah.
Ain't a little bit?
Nothing, man.
You're supposed to be providing content for this game. You got nothing to show? You're not even going to do, hey, we got an expansion coming in September. Give me a trailer for it. Something. Something.
Nothing, man. It's
Nothing.
done.
Like it doesn't even exist. It is just like how they treated Andromeda.
Yep.
And I mean, this is EA being EA. And I'm like, I don't care what they say, all this stupid ass press clippings where they always talk about how we're different now. We're a different company now. We do things differently now. Yeah, ain't different. Ain't nothing changed. It's the same company. The game doesn't sell to your astronomical levels, even if the game was going to be good. Their sales expectations was stupid. They wanted like 7 to 8 million in the first quarter. The game came out in February. What are you talking about?
And it was launching right before the Division 2.
And launching right before Division 2.
Yeah.
How stupid and completely out of touch with gaming do you have to be where you're telling your shareholders that kind of foolishness?
I don't think anyone disagrees with you, Slow-Mo.
I'm just like, look, and I want a Dragon Age 4. One, I don't know if BioWare will exist long enough for Dragon Age 4 to come out. And two, I don't know if it's going to be any good. For once, Dragon Age is a wait and see for me. And that's one of my favorite IPs. It's a wait and see now.
Yeah. OBJ Don says Norman Reedus beat a dude's ass with a backpack.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did.
do that. This game, I don't know. This game, the Throw Baby. Ryan, I don't know. I can't comment on the Throw Baby thing, man. That's kind of out there too.
Oh, baby.
What is Kojima made? I can't. I don't know.
He made
every time
completely different than no one else was doing, which is, like I said,
he's gonna get praised for that. You watch, guys. This game is gonna get 10s because he's gonna be praised as some kind of.
Of course, he's going to get 10
as a creative genius. He has Guillermo del Toro as a character in his game.
There are four kinds of games that get 10s no matter what. 4 kinds. Zelda games,
Hmm.
Mario games, Rockstar games, and Kojima games.
Except Zone of the Enders, that didn't get 10.
That's true. But Zona Enders, that was maybe not start. But those four,
I like Zone of the Enders, man.
Yeah, that's a good game.
Yeah,
I ain't like Zona Enders, but
I thought Zone of the Enders was actually pretty good.
that one is good. I mean, the first one's good too, but I think the second one's better.
You think the second one's better?
Yeah.
I haven't played the second one. Is that out? That's out on PS4, isn't it? E.
Yeah.
Yep.
Damn, I'm sleeping on that.
yo, there was stuff in Breath of the Wild that other games got complaints about, like weapons breaking.
Weapon degradation, yeah.
But in Zelda, it keeps things so fresh.
But it does, man. It works for that game.
You know what? I love that game to death. I put a lot of hours into that game, right? But the weapon system could have been a bit better because it didn't. There could have been at some point certain weapons you could have gotten that could be upgraded.
Lasted longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Say
true.
that, Eric. You can't say that, man.
I'm saying.
Not about Zelda.
I'm saying
I
that.
say
Eric,
that.
that game is perfect.
There's nothing wrong with Breath of the Wild. It's perfect in every way.
Dorothy
It's
Mantooth is a saint.
amazing on this piece of hardware. It's great.
I do wish more games had the freedom that Breath of the Wild had, though.
Yo, you could legit go about it any way you want.
That's true. But see, that's the refreshing part for that series. At least I thought that it took on a lot of I don't know how to describe it. Became like a modern day Zelda for me, if that makes sense.
Hey, and I don't know how much credit Nintendo gets for this, but they listened to their fan base. Their fan base was like, we don't want the same Zelda anymore. We want something different.
Yeah, that's what I felt. I felt like a modern day Zelda. Like they took pieces of other games that I've enjoyed and incorporated that in that game, which isn't easy to do. Because we've seen developers try to kind of stray away from, how they've traditionally designed games or popular franchises, maybe try to implement new gameplay mechanics that don't work, and if they fall on their face, this game doesn't do that. Like that weapon degradation. Isn't that similar to like what we find? I think what's reminded kind of Souls a little bit. I think.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean that was done. I mean it wasn't perfect. I think I agree with you there, Eric, but I don't think it was bad.
No, it wasn't bad. I mean, it didn't stop me from like going through the game, but it would have been nice to, until you get to like the Master Sword or something like that, you can find a weapon, or even if you find a weapon that you like better than the Master Sword, you can, if you're gonna do the RPG element, you can be able to upgrade it and keep it.
Yeah, this is true, man. No, I think that's a great point, man.
Had a few more actual like Zelda like dungeons. I mean, the shrines were cool, but I get what they were trying to do. And look, man, for them striking out and kind of trying to do that type of game where you can take combat situations almost any kind of way you want. For Nintendo, that was a pretty interesting thing. Yeah,
no, it was. I mean, yeah, I would have liked the dungeons, but that's yeah, I kind of say I kind of gotta
watch your words, Enrique.
Huh?
You're starting to sound like you have criticism for a perfect game, and that can't happen.
No, I mean there's no such. I don't believe there's such.
Those
thing
dungeons are perfect. They're perfect dungeons.
Perfect dungeons.
Oh, Chief Tomei said overrated like Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh, stop there, Chief Tomei. Horizon Zero Dawn is not overrated.
Nah, son. Come on,
Dorothy Mantooth is a saint.
Tell me we ain't doing that right now.
Yeah, we're not going down that rabbit hole with you, Chief Tomei. She's trying to troll. That's what's going on.
Yeah.
By the way, I got some heat for my Donald Trump video and the trade war and how that might impact the gaming industry.
Oh, in the comments?
On Twitter too. I got some pretty interesting DMs.
I can imagine.
Yeah. So
they didn't like what you had to say, Enrique?
No, they didn't. told me that I didn't care about America. I had people tell me that. You must not care about America, man.
No, your Congress doesn't care about America.
Nobody in politics cares. Newsflash: nobody in politics really cares about America.
Exactly, man. What do you
Care about money?
Guys, like I had guys
Every
tell
single one. It's a bipartisan selfishness. Okay, so don't worry about your side of the aisle. The other side of the aisle is just as greedy. So yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know about you guys, but going and paying damn near $5 for a gallon of milk, that ain't jiving too well with this whole American dream right now.
Mhm.
It's like, you know, it's funny because it's true. Like I had people tell me, "Oh, well, no. I mean, there's not gonna be tax on game consoles or American products. They're made in China." No,
Exactly.
but they're American.
Where do you think they ship from? They gotta get on a boat to get here.
Exactly.
Idiot box.
But
They don't make anything in America because Americans want benefits.
But here's the thing:
we want to be paid fairly for our time.
Yep.
Candy hairline. You better not say nothing about that, man.
And we're not going to put nets on the top of our buildings to keep workers from committing suicide.
Hey,
so,
Slim, you know how OBJ Don's from the DMV?
Yeah, he said the word Bama.
Yeah, that's why I know he's from the DMV. You never hear that word outside of DMV.
You never heard that word.
I've never heard Bama outside of DMV.
Oh,
he said whoever vote for that Bama doesn't care about America. No, but it's crazy. I mean, if you guys haven't read there's several articles out by a lot of the gaming media that were covering this, that basically there could be a 25% tariff on video game consoles and controllers. For those Xbox fans, we know how much you guys love your controllers.
Oh no, you didn't.
Well, I mean, look, man,
the shade.
Come on, I mean,
continue.
You know what E3 is gonna be a new controller.
Of course, they're gonna have a control. They're gonna have some kind of controller. It's gonna be a Halo controller and a Gears. No, because Gears comes out this year. There'll be a Gears controller.
Yeah, we're coming out with.
Hopefully, we get a Gears X.
They should have a Gears.
That's not happening, man.
They don't do that anymore for some reason, but
they're not doing that, man.
Yeah,
they should have a special edition Gears.
Not announce a new consoles. They probably won't.
Yeah, we always talk about that. How they should do custom console, and Aaron Greenberg's always like, "Oh, that stuff's expensive, guys, so we don't do it." Yeah,
but they make like 2 or 3 awesome looking ones, and then they like give it away on Twitter or something like that. But they don't make them for
it's expensive, man.
But people would buy it. Like there are a lot of people that would that stuff would sell out. Like the one they did for Tomb Raider, shout out to Tomb Raider.
Yeah,
they had vines growing off of it. I saw so many people that was like people who hate Xbox. They were like,
man, if you want a Tomb Raider custom control or custom Xbox with vines, just put a plant next to your Xbox and call it a day. Jake some leaves over it or something.
The way some people talk about not turning theirs on, it may just grow vines on his own. I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, we're gonna get hate mail now. I can see it now. That one guy who always comments is gonna drop 8 comments in the comments section.
It'll be 20 comments. I knew you, pony.
Slow-mo's a pony. But yeah, I mean, so this tariff thing could be, legit. Is people? I'm telling you, people are sending me DMs saying that because I was trolling. I put a comment out about, if you're not a real gamer, if you don't, put politics aside and speak out against this, and people got upset,
But I mean, let's
like it's just gaming. There's more important things to care about, and you don't. Someone said you must not. You don't love America, and you don't have kids, so you don't know what it's like to worry about your kids' future. And I'm like, I have 4 kids, so
I got a squad. What you talking about?
Yeah, I got a team. I got an NBA team here, right?
Clearly doesn't know you at all.
Yeah, I got 4 kids, right? Yeah, so I know, and I know what's going. Like, I care about my kids' future, But care about their future.
Let's think about this, and purely the business sense. Let's take politics completely out of it. You add these tariffs to products exported from China to America. You do that. This is how businesses will react. They're going to do one or two things. They're going to either lower the quality of what they were going to do for these consoles. Either they were going to go with a particular number of teraflops or a particular kind of CPU chip. They may downgrade from that to mitigate that cost. Or what they're more likely going to do is they're going to pass that cost on to us.
Yeah. Or they'll just limit the amount that they produce.
Yeah, which makes it even harder for us to be able to get that product.
But this is what I understand why people are like
one bit.
That's what I'm saying to people. They're like, I'm like, why would you want to pay more for a product? None of this has to happen.
Because we're gonna stick it to them Chinese to make America better.
Well, the funny thing is that people are like, oh, they like, hey, look, I'm not saying they haven't done. They have done things that are shady. They've manipulated their currency, but part of the trade deficit. I'm not trying to get into this whole political thing, but part of the trade deficit too is that we have one. You're looking at two different economies. One is more of a manufacturing-based economy. We're more of a consumer economy or services-based economy. So that's part of the reason why you have such a big gap in the trade deficit. U.S. doesn't manufacture that much shit anymore. We just don't. That's the reality of it, people. We just don't.
Yeah, and it goes back to what we were saying. The kind of jobs the kind of conditions and pay that workers in other countries are enduring is not what any one of us, you out there listening included, would ever accept at your own personal job. No benefits, less than minimum wage, and working more than 80 hours a week. You wouldn't accept that. No. And that's why those jobs aren't here. That's why they're in China.
But here's the thing: a lot of the manufacturing jobs,
in Brazil, in India,
yeah,
that's why they have them there.
But majority of the manufacturing jobs, some when they got lost, weren't lost to overseas labor.
Yeah, it's automation,
technology, automation.
Yeah, and that when our politicians lobby for and convince these companies to change their mind on opening a factory overseas and open a factory here, you get some jobs back, but only to get enough people to run an automated facility. So you're not getting back all the jobs that you think you're really getting back. You're getting back some of those jobs, and then there are getting machines to do the job that maybe 80% of that factory would have been doing. So it's still not really doing what you think it's doing.
I tell you what, I'm going to be mad if those prices of consoles go up next console generation because of this fucking trade war. I'm not going to be happy.
Yeah, I mean, like we could have got a PS5 for 400, but potentially could be 450 or 500. Or could have got that Anaconda for 500. Might be 550. Might be 600 now.
Yeah,
and that's the danger zone because I am a firm believer anything over 500 is a fail. You don't sell a console for more than $500. It's not going to work. So
yeah, you never go full on PS3 2007.
Right. You never go full on two jobs.
Exactly. Exactly.
You are asking to take an L.
Our customers will get second jobs. Oh yeah, we'll show you.
Right? How'd that work out for you?
Yeah, we'll show you. Oh my God!
Boy!
As long as they don't tax the cloud, we'll be okay. Stay here forever. Yes,
that is. You know what? That's a legitimate benefit to cloud streaming.
What if we look back?
You ain't gotta worry about that. About this whole importing goods from China because it's all over the cloud.
Hey, we have an option, right? You want to support American companies? You right? You want to stick it to the Chinese? Go to Stadia. Go cloud, baby.
OBJ's in the chat. His head just exploded in the last 20 seconds.
Oh my god. Oh shit. That's funny, man.
He'd be playing Stadia crying. He was like, damn tariffs.
Oh my.
PS5 was $800. I ain't paying that.
His head just
weren't you told by someone they would gladly pay $1,000 for a console?
Yeah. Someone's like, oh, well, first, here's a funny thing. They tweet, I'm concerned about my kid's future. Then they're like, I gladly pay $1,000 for a console with and I'm like, okay, so you're gonna pay double the price of a console when that's money that can go to your own kids, and you're so worried about your kid's future. That makes a lot of sense.
I would. Sometimes, like, you read something on Twitter and you just wish the person was in front of you because you could throw something at them.
Look, I shouldn't say this, man. I shouldn't say this, but there are some dumb people on Twitter.
Yo,
oh yeah,
the dumbest.
Huh?
I said the dumbest.
No, I don't mean that to sound like a dick, but there are some dumb people. Like, I could tell when I'm talking to somebody who just doesn't. I don't know who. I don't know. Has conversations with dogs. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't get some of the reasoning, the rationale behind some things. It just blows my mind.
Yeah. It baffles me. Because some people you talk to, like, on a regular, like, you seem very intelligent. Like, how are you falling for all this? It's like,
I think people, man, just live. Especially if you don't get outside your bubble, man, you just don't know.
Yep.
I don't know, man. But yeah, I got a lot of like hate mail for that video, especially with the thumbnail I put with like Trump's face.
I don't know. It's funny, man, because working at a school is like you want to tell kids, yo, man, you need to get a good education so you can be something, and you sit around here goofing off. You're not gonna make it. You're not gonna make anything of yourself. And I'm gonna laugh one day when the kid looks at me and says, "I could be president."
Yeah.
Wow.
Because seriously, what experience do you need to be president? At this point, from this election on, what do we need?
You gotta be.
There was a time where you thought you had
smart businessman.
What else you got?
I don't know, man.
There was a time where it was kind of deemed that you needed to have some form of experience to run the country, right?
Yeah, some kind of political experience running
a business,
a state, or
state, or
Congress, something, and working in government and public service.
Yeah. Well, this is the funny thing. Like, people are like, oh, we don't trust the government, and it's like they're sick of like politicians. But would you go to your plumber to get your teeth pulled? Probably not.
Hey, America loves their crooked businessmen.
You would go to a dentist. I mean, so it's you want somebody who's got experience. We're seeing that the lack of experience being on the world stage. We're seeing all this stuff now. Trying to circumvent the law, ask people to obstruct investigations. So
snatching children from mothers and separating them, and
yeah, I mean, it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Like, we don't know where your kid is, but hey, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
you should have never came here.
Yeah.
Oh god. I ain't mean to say it.
Yeah, why you gotta say it like that though?
I did mean to say it like that.
Why did you have to add that twang to it?
Address all of your hate in the comment section.
Slow-mo's gonna get, we're gonna get so much hate.
Just address all that hate to me. It's fine. I'll take it. It's all good.
It doesn't apply to Europe though.
Huh?
That doesn't apply to Europe. But if you come from one of the shitholes, then yeah, you'll lose your child.
Yeah.
If you come from across the Atlantic Ocean, hey, stay as long as you want. Overstay that visa.
Yeah,
which is the primary method of people being illegal in this country.
Bring your drugs
get a visa, get a legal way to get here, and then they just don't go back. It's not really come across in the border, whatever. Facts. Who needs facts?
Yeah, bring your drugs over.
Nonsense. We might as well go down the rabbit hole since we already started.
Yeah. Ryan Landis says, "You guys do realize all this has always been going on, right?" Distracted by OLED says it was okay when Clinton built and started the wall.
Oh, absolutely. I absolutely about that. Yeah, and, people act like Clinton was, such a great president, and there are a number of different things that you can point to the Clinton administration, like the overcarceration of black men.
I did not have relations with that woman.
Yeah, that other thing. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that you can point to his administration and be like, we started down the wrong path here. And super predator.
Yeah, it's funny. People bring up the Clinton wall thing in his comments on immigration, and I remember that. But we have. I like to think that we've progressed since then. Maybe we haven't, but I like to think that we've progressed as a society. But maybe we haven't.
No, we haven't. No, we haven't.
Yeah, maybe we haven't, and so, yeah. Anyhow, the OBJ says, I'm moving to Africa once. Little Uzi Vert becomes. Oh my God. Oh, shit.
Little Uzi become president, man. It's over. It's over with.
This podcast took a turn.
Yeah, it did.
We went. Don't call me daddy. Says Idiocracy predicted all this. It did. Hey, I'm telling you, when I start seeing Brondo commercials, I'm out. It's got electrolytes. Oh my goodness. Oh jeez. All right, guys. I think we should probably wrap up the podcast. So we'll be back. We'll be back next week. And by the way, I do want to say I am tolerant of anyone's political beliefs. I don't, believe in not talking to somebody because they share different political views than I do. I feel like that's unfortunate. Sometimes that takes place in this country. I saw a lady actually get booed for being a Trump supporter at a rally in Michigan, and I'm like, you don't have to agree with her. It's fine, but don't boo her. Don't hassle her. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like we should
all individuals, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, yeah, we don't have to agree, but let's try to be respectful,
Yeah, I think it was in Philly. Back when Trump first got elected, a guy was driving through clearly the wrong neighborhood, and he had on a MAGA hat, and he got yanked. I don't know if you guys remember this video now, but he got yanked out of his car, and pretty much got stomped out. And I'm like, I remember seeing that video on Twitter and seeing the comments for some people that were like making fun of it, and I was just like, that's not at all what I ever want to see. And that shouldn't be with anyone who doesn't agree with the whole that movement would wanted to see either, because it's feeding into a stereotype about minorities that allows them to continue to kind of treat and do things that is harmful to other people who are immigrants to this country, or people who were born in this country who aren't, the majority of the people in this country. And it's like, it gives them a reason to, even though it's not a great reason, but it gives them a reason to treat us as other or different or not good enough or whatever. And that's like, that kind of stuff has to stop. And we going down this rabbit hole, but just like this kind of, I really would love to see our government in this country actually make decisions that are like good for the people and not good for, well, does this affect the companies that give me money for my elections so that I can continue to have this job? Okay, if that's not a danger, I'll vote this way. Oh, is the rest of my party voting that way? Oh, That's the problem. Like that shouldn't be like what you're like down all the way at the bottom of the list for these politicians. I say it on both sides of the aisle is doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is my party lines, what they want, my party affiliation, the companies that pay for me to be here. Like, I mean, like how many? I don't like. You got guys like Cory Booker, who people are like, oh, he's going to run for president. Like, I'm sorry, but I don't like Cory Booker. I think the guy's kind of I know who has paid for his election in his campaign, and I don't agree with those kind of people. So it's just like when you see that these soon these potential presidential candidates are all being backed by shadiness, when they get in office, it's going to be all good towards the people that got them there. Like, you have to understand that, like, this politics game isn't about doing right for you. That's just the crap they say to get you to vote for them.
Yep.
You are 4th or 5th in line in importance to the NRA, private prisons, Exxon, name it. Name the company. Name the
pharmaceutical company.
Oh my God!
Insurance.
Pharmaceuticals got their hands up. Politicians.
Wall Street.
Wall Street. Name the industry. They got their money and everything.
Yeah.
Big business runs this country.
It does, man. I mean, it's
Absolutely.
Yeah. On that note, message.
Right.
You know what else about Cory Booker is aggravating? He's with Rosario Dawson.
He's dating Rosario Dawson?
Yep.
Oh man. I
just went from bad to worse, right?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say I'll talk off air. I'll talk about that. I ain't gonna say it live. I'm not gonna say it live. I ain't gonna say it. That's interesting.
That's kind of interesting. I'm shocked by that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyhow, all right. Well, we'll be back, guys, next week. Thanks for
hey, if everybody watching right now, 19 watchers, go play Anthem. Help them out.
Yeah, go play Anthem.
It'd be 4,019. Go ahead.
Oh shit. All right, guys. We'll be back next week to kick off E3. We're gonna have Lord Cognito on from the Iron Lords podcast. He's gonna be joining us. Introducing. That guy's got some guns, man.
Boy, stay in the gym.
Be working out
every morning, man.
Yeah, like he's like tweeting
tweets.
Yeah, like 4 in the morning. He's like, I'm in the gym now. I'm lifting weights.
Leg day.
Gonna come home and play some Destiny. Surprised the guy can do. I'm surprised he doesn't crush controllers, man, when he picks them up. Anyhow, we're gonna have Lord Cognito on from the Iron Lords next week. Brap Throat Baby edition. That didn't even sound right.
Wow.
Oh my God. Oh boy. Yeah. So come hang out with us next week. Sorry.
Don't tell me Danny. Don't call me Danny. Said Rosario is less hot because
yes,
of that.
Yeah, that's why I'm laughing.
I plead the fifth. I'm not saying a word.
Yeah. So Slomo, we're gonna miss you, man. Enjoy the vacation, my friend, and have a safe trip. And we'll miss you next week, man.
Well, absolutely. No doubt. It's gonna be I'm gonna miss you guys a little bit, not too much, just because I'm on vacation. Like I said, I'm gonna try to spend as much time in a hammock as I can, or as much time as 3 kids of 9, 8, and 3 allow me to be in a hammock. So you guys already know I'm not gonna get much time to relax. So.
Nah, man, you won't. Not on vacation, man.
But
Worse.
yeah, I kind of wish I won't miss the. I'm not going to miss the convo you guys are going to have with Lord Cognito next week, because that's going to be pretty good. I know it will. All the 16 people still listening right now. Yeah, definitely check this podcast out next week. It's going to be a good conversation. I know it. I'm gonna try to listen in if I got the energy.
All right, man, no doubt. And big shout out to Forte, who joined us for a little bit. He is working this evening, so Forte, man, we appreciate you hopping in and hanging out with us for a little bit. And big shout out to my other co-hosts, Eric Jackson and B Money. Gentlemen, always a pleasure.
No doubt.
Yes, indeed, man.
Yeah, man.
All right, so on that note, we are out. Everyone, enjoy the rest of the week. Enjoy your time gaming. Let's get ready for E3. And we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.